There is a moment in the life of Gideon where everything shifts, not on the battlefield, but in the realm of revelation. God sends Gideon down into the enemy camp, not to fight, but to listen. And there in the darkness, he overhears a dream. A loaf of barley bread tumbled into the camp of Midian. It struck a tent and overturned it. A barley loaf, not a sword, not an army, not strength, a loaf of bread. And immediately the interpretation comes. This is nothing else but the sword of Gideon, and into his hand God had delivered Midian, Judges 7 and 14. The enemy already knew they were already defeated. But this doesn't begin here. Earlier in Judges chapter 6, Gideon brought a simple offering to the Lord, unleavened bread and broth, and presented them. What was once an offering becomes later a weapon, the barley bread. That's the pattern of God. What you place in his hands, he transforms and returns with power. The barley loaf represents weakness. It was the bread that the poor, common, and insignificant people would eat. And that's exactly what Gideon was, least in his house, from a weak family in a nation under oppression. Yet in the dream, that very weakness becomes unstoppable. It rolls into the enemy's camp and brings everything down. Why? Because God uses what is weak to overthrow what appears strong. And here's where the revelation deepens. Gideon is not just Gideon. He's a type of Jesus Christ. Because in John 6, we see barley loaves again. There's a lad who has 5 barley loaves, and Jesus takes them, he blesses them, and he breaks them, and he multiplies them. But then he reveals something even greater. I am the bread of life. Whoever eats my flesh has eternal life. The same chapter. The bread was never just bread. It was pointing to Jesus, his body, to the cross. And here's the mystery. The same chapter where Jesus multiplies barley loaves is the same chapter where he reveals his flesh as the bread of heaven. That's not a coincidence. That's the cross being revealed. And because just like Gideon became the barley loaf that destroyed the enemy, Jesus is the bread of life that would defeat sin, death, and hell. And here's the stunning truth. The enemy thought the cross was the end, but it was a multiplication. Just as the bread was broken and multiplied, Jesus was broken, and his life was multiplied to many. The devil didn't stop God's plan. He fulfilled it. This is the pattern. Blessed, broken, given. And through that, multiplied. So when God reduces and when he strips away strength, when he allows weakness, he's not destroying you. He's positioning you. In his hands, weakness becomes a weapon. Gideon became the barley loaf. Jesus became the bread of life. And what looks insignificant in the hands of God becomes unstoppable.